guys, thanks for coming and joining us. And we are talking today about the top 6 strategies of thriving business owners. So we wanted to make this a bit more of a conversation. I know you guys have been asking for podcasts. This is my version of that. Really happy to be here. And to dig into the heart of things, here's what's up. You guys are probably looking around. And as you know, I mentioned that it's just tens of days until we finish up the year. We're really getting into the home stretch of things. Fourth quarter's in the wings. And you're probably looking at your calendar, or more importantly, looking at your income, and you're saying, what is happening here? Why are you at the same plateau that you were last year and the year before and the year before? And I know that's really frustrating because if you're thinking about your expectation, are we firing that up?
Producer, if you're thinking about your expectations,
you want to look like this, you want to look like the king or the queen of your business, and you want to have everything on top. And yeah, hey, it's not a bad thing to want to be rich either. This is what we hope for. But then we look at our reality. I hope that worked because
yes,
we have, if not, I'm going to post it in the group. But oh my gosh, we guys wanted to show you this because A, we love cats, and B, we wanted the point. The point is coming across that there is a mismatch from where your expectation is and where you really want to be with your income, with your success. I know you want to be a thriving business owner. So for the rest of this conversation, we are going to wipe away the idea of you as a photographer. We are talking today about high-level concepts, very important concepts that I see throughout our industry, winning photographers, and throughout many industries. What do we see in common with CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners? What are the traits they have?
And in hundreds of phone calls Megan has done with students,
yes,
across the years, she's boiled it down to these 6 things that always recur. One of these is usually the issue that's holding people back. So we just boiled them down and we're going to go through them one by one.
We're going to go through them one by one, and I want you guys to check them off and see where might your issues lie. Where are you at a deficit? And honestly, it might be all 6 because these are incredibly common. So let's learn about how to grow your biz.
All right.
Number 1. With a bullet.
Yes, pricing is the most important thing.
You must be priced right. You guys, I can't say that enough. We are in a sales profession. Sales means the higher the sale that we bring in, the more successful we are. And if you ask any 10K Club member, the happier their clients are. Because it's not that when you charge more, when you make more, your client is less satisfied. Actually, look at the 10K Club stories. Search it in the group right now, hashtag 10K Club, and you're going to see how happy these clients were. So when we look at it,
and then we ourselves have hired multiple photographers and spent more than $10,000, and we love the experience. We value the portraits, we value the wall art even more. They become really important memories and milestones in our life. So spending money isn't a burden. Spending money is fun and joyous.
Yes.
If you don't believe it, obviously you should read She Sells.
Absolutely. Please read She Sells.
You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, look into it. There's scientific studies out there. There are case studies. There are anecdotes. The higher you price, the happier everyone becomes.
Yes. So pricing is the ticket. So let me give you some concrete numbers about what that looks like. So when I look at my business, we do roughly $45,000 a month, and we do that with typically 7 shoots a month. So we are well over a $6,000 average. That wasn't always the case. When I started, my goal was, and you can see this in the book She Sells, from day one, my goal was a $3,000 average. And that's not just me. People who go through our course, who go through Level Up, they find they need the same. So if you are positioned to average less than 3,000, you are probably not going to be among the thriving, successful business owners unless you're working in extreme volume. And I feel that in this group, we really talk about high customer service, being pro-client. And in that attitude, you just can't serve that many clients a week. We're talking max 2 clients a week. We are not set up like Portrait Innovations. We are not Sears Portrait Studio. Spoiler alert, Sears Portrait Studio and Portrait Innovations are out of business. So the high volume model is not one that's going to deliver success.
Yeah.
Low volume, high customer touch, high price point is what's going to do it.
If you're priced so that your average is under $2,000, you're causing pain for yourself and your clients. It's just so simple as raising the price. Obviously, your art will be elevated when you have more time and space and resources.
Yes.
So there's no downside to raising your price. Don't be afraid to do it.
So those of you who are under 1,000, your first order of business is going to be to understand how to price higher. And we have resources for you. Dig into them. Those of you guys who are already at a nice average, a $3,000 average, keep on implementing the lessons. I'm going to assume you have level up, because how else did you get to 3K? So how can you get to a $4,000 average, a $5,000, a $6,000? These things are possible, and I know you can have a 10K sale as well. So keep on lifting that average. That's going to be what helps your business more than anything else we will talk about here or in any of our programs. Right. Have we hit that one?
I think we've hit it pretty hard, so let's go right to number 2.
Number 2.
Kind of along the same veins. Number 2 is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And Megan has some insights here.
I do. So here's the thing. I know that you guys are entrepreneurs. I know that you're creatives. I know that you left corporate America because you're bored to tears by that structure. But listen, you cannot throw out the baby with the bathwater. Do not reinvent the wheel. Everything doesn't have to be a brand new program. You can follow the lessons that you learn from other educators. And I would encourage you guys, hey, if I'm the educator you choose, I would love that. I would love to keep on promoting your learnings. But you must find where you resonate with people. Who has the voice that you like? When you find a coach that resonates with you, simply do this. Stand on their shoulders. That is I do.
In our industry, or I should say in our businesses, we were really into Donald Miller's story brand.
Yes.
We took his course, we read his book, and we used the heck out of that philosophy with all of our websites, all of our programs when we were writing the book. That is a formula that is proven. It is scientifically based, and we use it. And so, I mean, we can tweak it, but you don't have to reinvent it. It's out there.
Yes. So anything I can learn, if I can learn more from sales professionals, marketing professionals, I'm going to do that. And the most money that I do in my business is we invest on typically $5,000 a year in some kind of business education. Note that I said business education, because I don't want to have to come up with all the answers. I want to just learn from people smarter than me, stand on their shoulders, moving on. So when you guys are going to implement something, I would recommend do it to the T. Do not try to, it's like I give the analogy of baking a cake. Let's say there's a celebrity chef and they have an amazing recipe that you adore, that cake, and you want to create that too. You don't start off making the cake by saying, okay, well, let me swap the whole wheat flour for white flour, and let me switch sugar for molasses, and what if I switch the cake time? No, if you want to have the result of that baker, you start with their recipe, and you start with their ingredients, and you implement it to the letter. And that is the best way to have success. Now, when you yourself are a master baker, go ahead, tweak it. Switch the recipe, modify the ingredients, give it your own little sprinkle and flair, and maybe it'll come out better. But when you're starting out, follow the lessons and do not try to mix and match them between different coaches.
What are they saying? What's that?
Follow the recipe.
Yeah. Ratatouille. Follow the recipe.
Follow the recipe is the lesson.
In that movie, he didn't follow the recipe and it worked better. But
Bad example.
That's a cartoon, people.
The nature of live TV, everybody. Okay,
the
on
bottom
to the
line
next.
is, though, before we go on, I want to hit one more time the fact that it's just starting to be September. We already have 146 people in this year's 10K Club. These are people all over the country, all over the world, who have had $10,000 sales in one shoot. And they're all basically following the Level Up Blueprint. So they're following the recipe with minor tweaks, different genres maybe, but it works, and it works in every market. So that's just an example of, if you find a proven thing, go ahead and succeed with that, and then put your own spin on it later.
Ta-da!
All right, number 3.
On to number 3. You will need a sounding board. Okay, I can speak to this because here's my sounding board right here. My sounding board is Eric, and I also refer to him as my no man. Because any idea I have, which trust me, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I have like 1,000 ideas a day. So every idea I have, I run it by Eric, and typically 9 out of 10, if not more, get cut.
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of a buzzkill.
She's a little bit. She gets nervous when she approaches me with an idea, because I'm cynical and I reject a lot of them. Now, if one gets through and it sounds like a good idea, and it has my blessing, then she knows, well, that's something we should do.
It's almost a surprise if I say, hey, what about this? And he agrees. I'm like, oh my God, it must be really good.
And it goes the other way too. I mean, I'll have ideas, I have to run them by her, and sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is yes, with many changes.
Yes.
The bottom line is, nobody should have unchecked complete authority.
Yes, and this is
it
not.
Never works.
It's not just coming from the world of photography. You can look into any corporate structure. I mean, if you haven't done so, watch this Joseph Gordon-Levitt show about Uber. It's insane to look at what happens with unchecked power.
Yeah, that
unchecked
guy had
power.
a board, but the board had no real power, and so he was just going all over the place.
Yes.
You can read Steve Jobs' biography. I mean, you can look at Elon Musk. These guys are great. They're geniuses, but if they have unchecked authority and nobody to check them, sometimes they go in the wrong direction. Sometimes they get distracted. So
there it is. So
yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur like me, if you're a visionary and you have big ideas, you must find a no man. That's going to be very important. Now, what if that's not you? What if you feel like you're playing small or you just don't have big ideas? You're constantly tapped out. What should I do next? You need a yes man. So a yes man is going to be who's the person that's going to tell you the new ideas and give you a new vision and a new direction to walk down. Having that balance of someone to keep you in check and say, hold up, let's think about that before we proceed. And having someone that says, yes, go for it, you've got this. So I think this is something we do really well in Rise to the Top. We are really good about encouraging people, taking you guys outside of your comfort zone, and you can heighten that even more with different structures. So here's some examples of what your sounding board might look like. You might have a spouse like me that can say yes or no to ideas.
Somebody who's involved in your business, understands what's going on, interacts with you. I mean, not just are you married, but do you have a spouse that is like a part of your business? That can be your sounding board.
Yes, and that could also be a business partner. So if you're unmarried, it doesn't have to only be someone you're married to. It can just be someone who you're constantly rallying ideas around. Sometimes I talk to people and they've got like a best friend relationship that they bounce ideas off of. That's an idea. Another one would be a coach. Of course, a coach is an easy one. So find someone you respect, find that person who has big ideas, listen to what they have to say, for better or for worse. When they challenge you, heed their warning. When they encourage you, listen up to that too. And I also love the idea of a mastermind. So these are things that I have implemented 100%. Yes, I've got my spouse, I have business partners I work with, I have a coach, I have a mastermind.
Well, she's had different coaches. She doesn't have one coach, but over the years she's had a couple coaches for sure.
Yes, and the mastermind component is something that I really like, and you can put this together yourself. There are resources in the archives. We talk about different topics like these, but having a mastermind, just having peers in your world that can say yes and no to ideas, that you can bounce ideas around with. This is going to be so important to your growth, and this is something that big visionaries have. This is something that I know it feels like you just left corporate America, and so why do you now need a structure and people around you? You always need people around you. That is how we thrive. That's how we grow.
Yep. All right, that was a
Nailed
pretty good
it.
one. Yeah, I like that one.
Next up, number 4. Plan the month ahead and analyze the month past. Okay. Moment of truth, honest question. When was the last time that you did a complete and thorough business analysis? Now, this is something that I think is so important that once a year I do this myself. I call it my Business Breakthrough Challenge. And I do this, I take about 2 weeks of vacation time and I look at everything that's happened in my business. I look for patterns. I see where have my best clients been coming from? What are the things I see in common with their sales? What kind of demographics am I looking at? I look at my worst clients. What were the sales that I just hated? What do I not want to repeat? What do I need to make better? Where are my opportunities? Where's my strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are things I need to look out for? What do I need to innovate? All of these things are things I take into consideration. Now, I asked you the honest question, when was the last time you did this? If you said never, you are not alone. And when I talk to photographers about this, the answer is most commonly 90% of photographers are not doing this at all. 10% are doing it once a year. Now, how many people do you think are doing it every month? I bet like none. I mean, the 1% of 1%. When we look at business as a whole, can you guys imagine a big entity like Starbucks, for example? Can you imagine that Howard Schultz would not know what his businesses are doing, not just on an annual basis, but on a monthly, weekly, daily, hourly basis?
Well, yeah, every store is going to have a year-over-year, monthly goal. Every district is going to have a monthly goal. They're going to look at dollar per ticket, attachment rate, all of those things that are measurable and quantifiable. And we have the same sort of things. We have what is your sales average in this genre, in that genre? How many clients per month? What's your close rate for leads?
What's your conversion?
What are your costs? I mean, what are your cost of goods? Is it in line? You need to know your numbers, and you need to know them like in real time. So the more analysis you can do and the more goal setting you can do, the stronger you'll be. Now, when it comes to goals, we set goals a month out. We set our annual goals month by month and our whole year in January.
Annual? quarterly,
and we're
monthly.
We're not afraid to revise those if things change, if the economy changes, if COVID hits, et cetera. You can change these things, but you must have them. And the number of times that we've hit our goal, like on the dollar, on the last day, maybe even in the last hour,
Yes.
it's just stunning. We'll have a prediction.
I just have to jump in because I hope Jesse is watching. At the start of every month, we say about the portrait business, we joke, I just don't see it. We're like, I just don't see it. Where's the money? Where's it coming from? And it happens because the reason why it happens is, number one, because you tracked it. If you are not tracking, how can you hit a goal? You can't. But if you are tracking, you will then put pieces in place to achieve that. So we can very simply reverse engineer success. Let's look at it with real numbers. Let's say you want to hit a goal of $20,000 in a month. Okay, what's your average sale? So now we can see from the average sale, divide that into 20,000, we now know the number of clients we need to serve. Now we say, okay, well, if I need to serve that many clients in a month, well, what's my conversion rate? How many leads am I converting? So I can once again reverse engineer it further and say, maybe I convert 50% of leads. Great, then to get 2 clients in for a week, I need to actually invite in 4 people for a shoot because 2 are going to convert, 2 are not going to convert. There it is. It's just simple math. We reverse engineer back to the studs. What does success look like? Now, is anyone's mind blown at this point? Because this stuff is like both incredibly simple, but incredibly mature business concepts. If you guys have worked retail before, Eric and I have been in sales our whole lives, we know the power of goal setting. But if you are not setting monthly goals, this is the biggest reason why you're not succeeding, in addition to having those high price sales. And I also wanted to put in about when I worked at a shoe store, I had a team beneath me, and I would take our goal, whatever the district had set for me, and I would multiply it 25% higher. And what would happen is when we hit our goal, I would say to the team, I'd be like, guys, we're short. We got to keep on going. Come on, keep pushing. And we would hit every month 25% over. And my team never knew when we had crossed the actual goal. And lo and behold, we were best in the district. So set goals, set stretch goals. It will happen.
And make a plan to achieve them, and then go for them. Yeah.
Yes.
And then if you're falling short, you'll double down. If you crush the goals, maybe you'll coast a little bit, or maybe you won't.
Yep.
But I mean, you have to know where you stand, and you need to have this plan, and constantly be looking at the month behind. How did I succeed? How did I not succeed? All right, what am I going to do in the month forward? So it's just analysis and goal setting.
Yes. And if you're not good at that, can I therefore make a plug for Accountability Crew? I'm doing it.
Can't stop you.
Okay, here it is. So if you are not good at doing that, I can tell you that the best thing I ever did for my business was joining a mastermind, because when I had my mastermind, I know me, and I know that I perform really well to deadlines. So I had a date and a responsibility. I was kept accountable by my crew, my mastermind, and I wasn't going to show up on a call and not have my plan set and not have my action plan and my everything analyzed and my monthly goals set. So I would show up to the call, get it done, because that date was on the calendar, and therefore that worked for me. So you guys got to find, what is that thing that's going to happen? At some point, I do want to talk about method, mindset, and magic. Is that time now?
Yeah, that time is now, because
Here it
when
is.
I'm talking about how we always sort of magically hit our goal at the end of the month, it's because we've been trying to put together this topic called method, mindset, and magic. Those are the 3 things you need. Method is having a plan. Mindset is being optimistic and driven and relentless, I suppose.
Yes.
And if you do those first 2 things, the magic you get for free, because you'll hit the goals that you set. If you set them intentionally, if they made sense, and if you had a plan to get there, that's basically what you need.
And what we've been talking about this whole call here is the method is the strategies. It is the, what is your sales script? What is your process? What is your pricing? Who's the client you're looking at? That's all method. And all that stuff can be learned. It's totally accessible to you. You know, I don't believe that there are born salesmen. I believe that all great salespeople have been created through work and discipline and learning the stuff that just simply works thanks to human psychology. Mm-hmm. So method, you guys can learn. It's there for you. Plug yourself into the education. Mindset, I mean, that's actually some internal work. And yes, there's going to be coaches and guides that can help you with that. Obviously, we recommend a ton of books. We have like great ideas in generating through Rise to the Top around that. But you must change your mindset. You can't let people drag you down. You must believe what's possible. And that's when we say, hey, I don't see it. Where's the goal? Well, I see it because I make it, and I make it because I can vision it. So you have to like keep your vision strong, keep your mindset big, and allow yourself to reach for bigger things than you might think are possible. And like Eric said, the magic is free. Suddenly, you're just gonna have clients fall in your lap. Suddenly that lead is gonna convert.
We'll talk more about this in part 6, but let's get to 5. Number 5, one elevate project at a time.
Okay.
Talk about execute and elevate, and then we'll go from there.
There it is, okay. Again, so much of this content is free. free content, guys, free education. This is one of the posts in the archives that as a member of Rise to the Top, you can access for free. Elevate and execute is simply this. It's a term I made up to think about like what are the daily things we must do versus the big things we should do or could do. So an execute task is going to be something that is familiar, routine, common, right? For example, I got to retouch my portraits. Yes, someone must retouch portraits before I deliver them. Does that person have to be me? Not necessarily, but does that happen in a portrait business? 100%. So that's going to be an example of an execute task because it must happen. Now, here's an example of an elevate task. Getting rid of retouching. You do not need to do your own retouching. I know it's hard, I know it's scary, of course it is, but everyone who has let go of retouching has said, I'm so glad I did that because when you look at it and you look at it, it takes 8 hours of work to retouch one client shoot. That 8 hours could be used towards marketing. What if you went and took 8 hours a week and marketed? And by that I mean connection marketing, face to face, out in the community, shaking hands. If you did that for 8 hours a week, you would make thousands more dollars in your business each time you do it. So you got to do the both work. You got to do the elevate to do the big project, and you got to do the execute.
Let me give you my take on that. So the execute tasks are shoots, consultations, ordering appointments, ordering supplies, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the stuff, checking your email. These are the things you need to do. You need to allow time to do them. Calling leads is a huge one. Call your leads every day if you can, as soon as they come in, if it's available. But the elevate tasks are the things that are hard to do because they're unique, they're different, they're going to grow your business, maybe not immediately, they're time consuming. So revamping your website could be an elevate task. Introducing a new genre, hiring a new makeup artist could be an elevate task.
Outsourcing your retouching.
Of course, outsourcing your retouching. All of the things that you know you should be doing, but it's a question of like, what do I do first? Well, I suggest when I say one elevate project at a time, you need to have one and only one thing you're working on that's an elevate task. Otherwise, you'll get overwhelmed or distracted or procrastinate or backburner it.
Yes.
So if your project is redo your website and you know that this is going to take you 6 weeks, realistically, you need to calendar out those 6 weeks of days until the project is done, and don't try to start another elevate task in the middle, unless it's just like a monster, year-long thing like writing a book and you got to put it away for a while. But if you're doing it one thing at a time and you can focus on it, and then finish it up, and then maybe take a quick break, and then do another elevate task. But you don't want to stack, like, people when they're starting their business, they'll have a to-do list that's a mile long, and they don't know what to start with because there's so many things.
Well, here's what I do. I'd start with this. I take my entire to-do list, and I do that because...
we did that.
Sorry. But what you have to do is you have to get rid of the 30 tasks. You're never going to do 30 tasks. You have to put on your calendar what must happen, like the consultations, the shoots, the ordering. Yeah. But then you fill in the very important tasks of elevating have to have their own time slot where you're like, this is my time this week to move my business forward in a big way. And really one task per month. That's what you can do. Like Eric said, 6 weeks for a website, 3 weeks to outsource your retouching. These are big, big projects, and don't expect to do 12 of them at once. Do one, then do the next,
and
then do the next.
Never underestimate the power of calendaring, for sure.
Let me put this back together now.
All right, let's jump to number 6, because 6 is cool.
6, have perspective.
Yes.
Success takes time. Eric wanted to put on his business card that he is what?
I'm our Chief Perspective Officer.
Chief Perspective Officer. Because, again, as the visionary, I really like to take off with big, big ideas, but Eric always reins me in, and he says, hey, let's look at this. Let's have perspective.
It's going to take longer than you think.
Yeah. So I would say that I love this analogy of the rocket ship. And I know that you guys, again, you're looking at your business and you're like, I have this expectation. I want to be here. I'm sick of this, like, years and years and years not getting where I want. And then you look at it and you're like, it's taking me this long to get here. It's going to take me this much longer to get here. And it's not. What's going to happen is it took you this long to get here. It's going to take you this long.
Yeah, so she's talking about a ramp up period. So when we went full time, you might have heard this story in one of our programs. We went full time in 2013, January 1. I joined the business. We converted our home studio. And we said, this is all we're going to do is photography. Megan hit the streets. She did marketing multiple times a week.
I hit the streets? Yeah. I guess I did.
She did. She went out on the town. She went to, BNI, not BNI, what do you call it?
Networking, chamber, sure.
Women in business.
Yes.
Yep. She did Walk the Mall. She did Business Alliance. I mean, all the things that we talk about doing is marketing. grabbing people in with gift cards, like offering everybody she could find that was a good candidate a gift card, bringing them in. It wasn't
Personally,
until
one-to-one, not a spray and pray. No.
So that was January. We were grinding, and many times we're like, should we give up? It's not working.
No, it was more me. I was always saying, okay, today's the day I quit. And Eric would say, no, hold on. And we'd keep
August,
on going.
April comes, should I quit? June comes, should I quit? July, should I quit? Finally, it wasn't until, it was like the second week of September, right about now actually, in 2013, that we both looked at each other and said, you know what? The phone has started ringing on its own. I think we finally got some traction here. I think we're going to be okay. So that was 9 months of struggle before we felt like we had arrived. You can necessarily.
And I would say it's 9 months of action. I really think that's the most important thing. I want you guys to think of it as action. And we've all talked about the book, Go for the No. Just giving yourself that 10 times the action. And you have to talk to the number of people you have to talk to. The photographer who knows 20 people is going to be more successful than the photographer who knows 2. And the photographer who knows 200 people is going to be far more successful than all of them. So you must go out, make the action, make the connections, and personally invite people in.
And realize that it's going to be a volume game and it's going to be a long game. And so don't fall into the trap of like putting all your hopes into one client, and if the sale falls apart, give up. Like, you've got to expect there's going to be no sales. There's going to be you're going to put your foot in your mouth a few times.
Sure, I've done that.
There's going to be, and nothing ever works as fast as you think it will, and nothing ever gives you the reaction that you had hoped it would.
That's hopeful.
Yeah.
But here's the idea.
It's a long
what
game.
happens is this. I love the analogy of a rocket ship. When you think about, I want to be in space, I want to create this amazing business, I want to be out there, like all these people I see, they're just crushing it. I want to do that. How they got there is they were a rocket ship. It takes so much fuel, so much momentum, so many people, so much action, and then finally, you're out of orbit. Once you're in orbit, you can then coast. So each time that you want to grow to a new level, you need to think of yourself as a rocket ship. You're going to put in all that momentum, all that work, all that time, all that energy, and then you get to coast. So that day is coming, and really in the big scheme of things, what is a year of work? A year of work?
A year between
friends.
A
year of work. And if we look at it like this is what I know to be true, because I've seen this. I have proof. I have numbers of this. I've done it myself. Our accountability crew students have done it themselves. When you have the information you need, combined with the action, combined with the attitude, when you have those 3 things, you can and will grow your business $100,000 a year. So 5 years to $500,000. That's what's possible for you guys. Are you willing to do work like that? Are you willing to put in that energy and face the no's and face the work and think of yourself like a business owner who thrives, because it's coming. You just got to put in those hours and it'll happen. Mm-hmm. So have we hit it all?
That's it. Now we're going to do half hour of Q&A. So you need to recenter yourself. I'm going to
literally recenter myself.
I'm going to become the man in the chair. Here. I'm going to look at your questions that you put in the chat. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat.
Fire them up. Questions.
Open mic night with Megan. You get free coaching right here. Put yourself in the middle.
All right, so while he's adjusting, I am going to give just a shameless plug for Accountability Crew, because I only teach you guys stuff that I know 100% works. And the mastermind is what I created for myself, and now I've created it for you guys, the students. And it's all these things we're talking about. If you don't know how to be a mature business owner, and I say maturity like being responsible, thinking of yourself as CEO, if you don't know how to do that, or you need the action and energy around you, you need the coach, the crew, the community. If you need that stuff, this is the thing that's going to help you grow your business. So I really encourage you guys to do that. We only have 100 spots. We will be out of those spots by the end of this month. So if you've wanted to do that, if you want to see big change for your business, jump in, fill out an application. I will personally talk to everyone who applies, and we'll make sure that this is a good fit for you. And if it's not, we'll wish you well. But if it is, we'd love to see you. So what do we got for Q&A?
Okay, this is Eric on the mic. So the first thing I want to mention is, if you guys want your name and picture to appear, you need to click that little link in the description of the room and tell eCam that you love eCam. Otherwise, you're going to get, basically it's just going to say Facebook user. But anyway, I'll just throw them up anyway.
Perfect.
Somebody said, Eric DiPiero, do you have a spreadsheet for monthly goals check-in? I know you're a spreadsheet master. Thank you very much.
Heck, yes, he is.
We definitely do have a spreadsheet. And I even put in a little thermometer bar chart, which you can learn how to do in Google. across all of our businesses that we have monthly goals, and we have little thermometer charts that go up towards those goals.
But listen, I want to say Excel is fabulous and you should totally do it, especially if you have a techie person who loves doing that sort of thing, but you don't need that. Again, free in the archives is sales tracking that you can print out. These are sheets that I've made for you, whether your goal is $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month. You can print those out. This is how I started my business. I did not have a CRM for my first 2 years full time. I did not have Excel spreadsheets. There was a year where I would write out invoices literally on the notes on my phone and make hundreds of thousands of dollars. So paper and pencil works. I want to impress that upon you guys because I don't want you to make perfect the enemy of the good. If a paper on a clipboard gets you to your goal, do it. And it's free and you can print it out right now and start tracking.
That is true. Don't overthink it. Okay, here's one real quick. Where are the archives?
Oh my goodness, fabulous. I'm glad you asked. Okay, so you go to MeganDiPieroCoaching.com, MeganDiPieroCoaching.com, and then you are going to click store and scroll to the bottom, and there is the free mentor archives, and you can sign up there. Now, that might change because we're redoing the website as we speak. That's one of our huge Elevate 6-week projects, but you will always find our information at MeganDiPieroCoaching.com.
Also, it's a pinned post in this very group.
True. If you haven't done so, look at the featured posts across Rise to the Top because that's all the most important things we want you to see, including how do you become a 10K club, because I want everyone to be 10K club members, and it'll show you how to do that too.
I'm just going to throw this up there. How did you find your retoucher? Do you want to speak to ways to find a retoucher?
Yeah, again, post in the archives. But what I've done is I started off by training in-house. In fact, I trained Eric how to do it. Retouchers tend to have a shelf life of about 2 to 3 years. It's very grueling work. As we all know, it's very tedious. So after Eric was done with his shift, I then trained someone else who was just a local person in the community that I knew. After that, I trained my sister. So I love employing family when I can. After that, we are now in a place where we hire retouching houses. So retouching house, you can find them anywhere. You can ask in Rise to the Top, and people recommend a number of different places. But any of those solutions will work. I do love the control of having someone that you can train yourself. So if you're a control freak, which I definitely was in the beginning, that helped me a lot to have the oversight and be able to train and work with people. After you're done with that, then you can move on to a retouching house, or you can do it vice versa. But the important thing is to get it off your plate because you need those 8 hours for marketing. That's what moves your business forward.
I'm scanning quickly. There's not a ton of questions. Here's one. Where's the application? I guess that's for crew. I mean, you might as well.
Also glad you
since
asked
you're
that.
shamelessly plugging it, let's go.
MeganDiPieroCoaching.com store, and then you're going to see it's going to give my 1, 2, 3 process. Now, guys, I recommend for success, step 1 is that you read She Sells. That book is the best business education for the price. It can't be beat. Read that book. It's going to give you the lay of the land, my personal philosophy, as well as sales tips, scripts, marketing, all the different ideas, and definitely understanding how to price high. She Sells number 1. Number 2, I recommend Level Up. That's our pricing and sales mastery workshop. And number 3, I recommend Accountability Crew, which also comes with Next Level. Next Level is the heart of what we do there, and that is taking your business to the next level. So doing marketing, time management, and systems, all the things you need to be very good in your business.
This isn't a question, but I just want to reward Anna Gill for actually putting her picture on here.
Hey-o!
It just says, Megan, so awesome you use Ecamm Live. I got to tell the team. So there you go. Quick shout out for Ecamm Live, I guess. Okay,
what
here's
other
one.
questions?
Here's an actual question.
Yes.
What is your advice for being nervous about the quality of work skill level? Should I work more to improve my work before working on marketing and my business model?
Man, that's a good question. Okay, who asked that? Do we know?
We do not.
Oh man, okay, great question, whoever you are, mystery caller. So yeah, I would say that here's the thing. Your work is good enough right now. And I know that because I know you guys, and I know that you're any artist worth her salt is not going to just submit subpar work. You are going to work your butt off to create beautiful images, and they're going to be the best that you can deliver. So I will say this, the best that I could deliver year 1 pales in comparison to the best that I can deliver right now. But when I look at year 1 clients versus my clients now, they actually often pay the same amount of money. So how is it that my work has gotten 10 times better, but my sales have not gotten necessarily 10 times more? Now they have gone up as I've gotten better at marketing, but my sales with same client, same genre tend to stay the same. So what it is that we are experts at art, and we know as connoisseurs what is good and great art, but our clients don't. Our clients know the difference between bad and good, but they don't know the difference between good and great. So if your work is good, it is good enough right now. You will have high sales when you serve your client, because really what we're in the business of is the business of sales, and sales is really about problem solving for your client. And if you can problem solve and give a great experience, your client will spend big money with you.
Okay, another anonymous user says, I'm wondering how you connect with people when you are walking the mall trying to bring them in. What is the most effective thing to say to a stranger you want to come in for a photo shoot?
Okay, let's change the word walk the mall to walk the community first up, because a lot of times people think walk the mall means literally a mall. And what I'm actually talking about is I'm talking about being out in the community. My friend Andy, she loves to say pound the pavement. That's what she changed it to, and I love that idea. It's just about getting out of your computer, getting into the community where, guess what? You can actually see people and shake their hands and talk to them, and that's what we want. We want that face-to-face interaction, because that is the way to build trust. So the people I'm looking for when I walk the community is I'm looking for people who are business owners like me. That's a great start. Business alliances, I talk about this in She Sells, that my 3 main sources of networking are networking groups, business alliances, and charity connections. So business alliance is what you're gonna see when you're out in the community. Business networking groups is what you're going to see when you're at a networking group. But the most important thing is to just look for ways to bump into those people multiple times, and then look for ways that you can serve them. Again, in She Sells, I actually provide a script of how did I start talking to that guy, Rob, if you remember from the book. Is his name Rob, or did I change his name? I changed people's names for protection. But you're going to hear about a guy in a boutique that I talked to, and I have a script there. I bullet pointed things about you can say this and say that and say that. And that's how I connected with him. And it was basically by listening to what he had to say, drawing him out and providing value for him. That's what makes people like you.
Okay, Daniela Moroni, who has a beautiful picture as well. I just threw it up there mostly because she put her picture. She says, will the price of Accountability Crew go up next year? Don't know where she got that rumor, but it's not going up, no.
No, I don't believe it will go up. I mean, we want to provide value for you guys. I like to keep things fair, and I like to keep things where it's a high value. So we expect that 100% of our members are going to 10x their return. That's a great ROI to look at when you're looking at business education. So we want to price in that sweet spot where you can 10x that. And we're looking for really that $100,000 growth. But 10xing your investment actually only means $60,000 growth. So at a minimum, if you do that, you're getting the value of Crew.
Hi, Megan and Eric. What are your do's and don'ts when you go to network events?
Okay. I'm into throwing things away today. I wish I had a card with me. Throw away your business card. Isn't that a fun one? That's totally different than what you hear people say. But throw away your business card, because here's what I found. There was a time where I ran out of business cards, and I actually found that was my most successful networking day. And I almost didn't even go networking that day, because I thought, as I'm walking into the event, I thought, oh my God, I left my business cards at home. What am I going to do? And I said, should I leave? And I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm ready. Let me just go for it. And because I didn't have my cards, I had to try a new approach. So sure enough, somebody said to me, oh, do you have a card like they always do? And I said, you know what? I don't. But let me do this. Are you on Facebook? Can I just friend you on Facebook, and then I can send you a message, and then we can connect that way. I'll be happy to send you my contact info that way. And that began my career of having a business page and a business light page. So I don't have a personal page. I have a business light page, and I friend every person that I make a meaningful connection with through networking. And I certainly friend every client who I have a meaningful shoot with. Now, this allows me to connect with them over and over and over again. And one of the key elements to the friendship formula, as put forth by, I believe, Jack Schaefer of The Like Switch, a great business education book, he talks about that the friendship formula is frequency, intensity, duration, proximity. So frequency, how often are you seeing people? Duration, for how long? Proximity, are you actually out in the community rubbing elbows with them? And what I miss, intensity, are you serving them? Are they finding value in the experience with you? Friending people on Facebook is a fantastic way to keep connections going, and that only happened because I threw away my business cards. So I now don't bring them anywhere with me. I always just make that connection about how can I make stronger quality relationships in a networking event, not quantity. I'm not there to hand out my business card like candy. I'm there to connect in a deep way with people, and then we can be friends on Facebook.
Okay, changing the channel real quick. And this is kind of broad, so we'll see what you say. What is the best strategy for selling more wall art?
Ah, wall art. Thank you guys. I love wall art. I really do. It really means a lot to me, and I'm really glad that you guys are excited about it too. So how you sell wall art is simply this. You assume the sale. That's how you do it. You might have heard in sales terms before the idea of assume the close, assume the sale. So the idea is I walk into everyone's home, and yes, I do mean their home. I do in-home consultations because why? That's where their walls are. So if I can be in your home, I can sell you art. I can think like a designer and tell you where things need to be positioned to enhance your decor. As I say, decorate your home with love. So by getting my foot literally in their door, I now have access to their walls. So that's how I do it. I walk in and I say, well, where will we be putting your art? And I just assume the sale. Lots of people will say, my clients don't want wall art for beauty, or my clients don't want wall art for boudoir or for headshots. You guys will make up these ideas in your heads. My clients don't. And I'm here to tell you it's a myth. It's not actually true. When you embrace, my clients always, watch your sales turn around. So this is part of that mindset switch that you have to make. When you change your mind about what people are going to buy, they will change with you. But you've got to change your mind about it first. And you got to love wall art like nobody's business. And I for sure do.
All right. How do you encourage stay-at-home parents trying to grow a business? Limited time, busy schedule with kids, having a newborn, all the things that come with that role.
I too was a stay-at-home mom with kids and a business. And so when I started, I only had 15 hours available. And that's what it was. It was maybe 3 hours a day in the evening sometimes. I had weekends available. The second Eric would come in, I would let him decompress. I would decompress as well. And then I'd be hitting the phones and making those connections. So if you only have 15 hours a week, what that's going to look like is that you can serve 2 clients a month. But if you are serving 2 clients a month at $3,000, you're making great income. And then once you have proof of concept that, I can do this, I'm making great sales, now you can move forward and think about going full-time or think about hiring a mother's helper, a nanny, whatever it needs. Maybe like I did with our family, you can think about switching the roles. Eric came in and became the stay-at-home parent, and I moved into full-time breadwinner status. Why? Because I had proof of concept. I knew I could have big sales, and therefore I was ready. So you need to prove that to yourself first using the very precious hours you have for your highest endeavor task. That would be marketing, sales. That's what's going to move you forward. Focus on those 2 and you will make big strides.
So many choices here. I'm not planting these questions, guys. People are actually asking about our products. So are there some sort of phone call ordering appointment scripts in Level Up?
Of course. Yes. Everything that's important is a script. And I really strongly believe in scripts. They should not sound like scripts. They should sound authentic. They should be true to you. But having a script is really the way to create sustainable success. Because if you just keep winging it over and over again, there's no method there. You need a method. You need to have a script. And so in all of my programs, in Level Up, we focus on sales. So there's going to be a lot of scripting in there. In Next Level, we focus on marketing. There's going to be a lot of scripting in there. So I will tell you guys exactly the words I say. I even provide you the templates and the information and everything you need.
Okay, this is a good one. And I'm going to see how you answer it. I think I know how you're going to answer it, but let's see. How do you kindly explain the value of an IPS photographer versus a shoot and burn photographer?
I typically don't. I mean, I'm not here to educate my client. I know we throw around terms like that all the time in Facebook forums. We say you need to educate your client. I don't educate my client. What do? I connect with my client. I connect with their problems. I draw their problems out. Because what we're looking for in sales, we call it pain points. We're looking for what is the pain my client is experiencing and how can I alleviate that for them? Because when they see the ways that I'm going to solve their problems, they're not going to go looking for anyone else. So once again, throw away that idea of I'm a photographer. No, you're not. You're a business person. You're a business person, you're a sales professional. And what we do is we solve problems. When you know that the problems you solve are going to get your client closer to the solution they want, you are the one and only answer. And you got to identify that. You got to say, how do I do things differently? It's not from taking pretty pictures. It's from looking for what stresses them out and solving that for them.
Okay, here's one. This person says, I know it's covered in Level Up, but how do you quit your addiction to the security of your old clients who are comfortable with your old pricing?
Oh, the security. Okay, tune into this Mentor Archive post. It's in the archives. It's called Congrats, Grad, Announcing Your New Level Up Prices. or it might just be called announcing your new prices. Do not do this until you've done level up, because you have to have high prices to start. But when your prices are as high as they need to be, so high that they terrify you, so high that they make you want to puke, this is the post you need. You're going to take those prices and you're going to discount things down. But how you discount them down is through a gift card. So imagine this. Imagine that I have, I'm going to say it, a $4,000 album. Now, I have a $4,000 album. I have a $1,500 package to start, and I want to get my client in the door. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say, hey, Sally, I wanted to do a shoot with you, and here's why. What is the reason why you're choosing Sally to do that shoot? And you better know the answer. And if you'd like to move forward with me on this, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to cover everything related to your session fee, all the bells and whistles, and I'm gonna give you a $500 image credit. So you can use that credit however you wish. And you know what? If you're tempted to do so, you are also welcome to buy more. I'm gonna make my entire product list available to you. So now that $1,500 package, that $4,000 album that used to terrify you, guess what? Sally ain't paying that. Sally's paying $1,000 for a $1,500 package. She's paying $3,500 for a $4,000 album. Doesn't that sound more approachable? It's more approachable for you because it takes the fear factor out. It's more approachable for Sally because now she understands, wow, I'm getting this value. Oh my gosh, she's so generous. And now she knows she is best positioned to refer you and to be your repeat client because she understands where your business is going. So if you're wondering, hold up, what was that script again? It's in the archives. It's in the posts. Scripts are in the archives. They're in the book. They're in the workshops. All the goodness is here for you. I want you guys to succeed. You just got to use the methods.
All right. This question is from the lovely and talented Erin Beckett. She's asking for photographers who are newer in business and might be intimidated to join Accountability Crew. Is the crew better for people who are newer and working on building a client base, or is it better for those who are looking to grow their sales?
It's really all levels. It's everyone up to, if you have a business that you want to grow from starting, I would say, would be 100,000. If you want to, in 2023, make your business be $50,000, I love you, but we don't need you in Accountability Crew, and you don't need you in Accountability Crew. That goal is too modest. We need big growth, big achievement. So if your goal is $100,000 or more, you're going to be a good fit. And yes, you can go from 0 to 100K. You can. Now, what about if your goal is 250,000? What if your goal is 500,000? What if it's 600,000? We have a space for you too. So Accountability Crew, we separate people by achievement level and ambition level, because some people are very ambitious and they want to grow huge, huge, huge. We're going to put you with other high achievers and high ambition people too. But we will not mix and match, because there is a difference in the growth you're doing at a starting level versus the growth you're doing over here. Remember that rocket ship analogy? Listen, we're going to help people get to the moon, but we're going to help other people get to, I don't know, Saturn. So we're going to take you in the right rocket ship to where you need to go and pair you with the right people.
I wanted to clarify one thing too. We keep throwing these numbers around, and when Megan says $100,000, she's talking about the top revenue number.
Yes.
So if your business pulled in $100,000 in a calendar year, your actual income from that, you'd be fortunate if it were $50,000. And so that's why we're saying if your goal is to do 50K in business, you'd be netting, 25,000. It's not worth the stress and the struggle and the risk. So
yes,
you need to make your goal to be, at least 100,000 year one, so you have a living wage, really. And then beyond that, because you're a CEO and this is not easy. And so you need to have have a goal that is, it's right in the last program you did. Have a goal that is, I forget the word.
Oh, dang. You'll have to wait till the next program.
Important or meaningful. I don't know.
But the hallmarks of a calculated risk?
Yeah.
It has to be worthy of the ambition or the endeavor.
Something like that.
Yes.
So if you're going to put in all this blood, sweat, tears, and risk and sleepless nights, let's say.
Yeah, because you can get a $40K job right now. I promise you they're hiring. In
McDonald's
fact,
will pay you $40K right now.
At $20 an hour, yes, McDonald's will pay you $20 an hour. You can make $40,000 with a clock in, clock out job. You don't have to have the heartache and stress of being responsible for other people's paychecks, for the success of your client's story, for the overhead of your business. You don't have to have that. You can make a salary that's $40K anywhere. We're talking about business owner salary. Business owners, if you imagine what are the business owners in your market making, it's probably six figures, am I right? They're not making 40K. We want to think big, challenge ourselves as business owners to think for really, really big goals.
All right, this one's a little bit off topic, but cool. How do you fix the wave of momentum that happens in most creatives where we are inspired, work our ass off, and then cannot find the motivation to continue for a bit. Kind of like roller coaster of emotions, I think.
Yeah, I call that feast or famine mode. I get into that a whole lot in Next Level because it's entirely common. You see these months where it's like $40,000 month, and then $5,000 month, and then $30,000 month, and then $10,000 month. That's not what we want because, again, think like a CEO. Would Howard Schultz still be in business? Okay, listen, I keep using Howard Schultz because I just read about him. And he's,
yeah, somebody else put in the comments he's not the CEO anymore.
I'm sorry,
it's a bad
everybody.
example.
Fact check, thank you. But I just read his book, so it's top of mind. So, but Howard Schultz would not have made Starbucks the omnipotent presence that it is today. Is it omnipotent? It's omnipresent.
Omnipresent, yeah.
Had he not had sustainable goals, you cannot have a business go, woo, 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 woo. It doesn't work. You have to think like a business owner, and you have to make sure you sustain that success. So listen, what I'd rather see you do is this. I'd rather see you not have a $40,000 month. I'd rather see you have $10,000, $20,000 months. I'd rather see that. That'd be so much more successful because the ongoing success is what's going to sustain you. When you see that a client is calling and your books are already full for the next month, you don't take that client in that month. You pass them to the next month. And yes, you can do that. People will do that. I made an appointment for my dentist and they said, well, the next we can get you in is, and it was 7 months from now. And I didn't blink. I said, I'll take that spot 7 months from now. People will wait if it's something they need and value. So don't try to overburden yourself. Keep yourself sustainable. Go ahead and read this book. I love this book, The 12-Week Year. And you should have a minimum of 1 week vacation every quarter. Talk about renewing and recharging. You need that break. We're about to go on vacation ourselves. We have 1 to 2 weeks vacation every single week, and I run 4 businesses. So you guys can do it with your one business. You can step away, recharge, regrow, and then come back firing, but don't push yourself past sustainability. Keep things even and level.
Here's an interesting one. I don't know if we're going to have the same opinion on this, but Antonio Rose asks, should I have business Instagram and personal or just keep them together?
Don't have Instagram at all.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
You knew I was going to say that.
I mean, it's not a popular opinion, but I've never found it to be valuable.
Unpopular opinion alert. Megan doesn't do Instagram. I have, remember, Megan DiPiero Photography Business and Megan DiPiero Business Light. My personal page is the best place I go to market. Seriously, go to my Megan DiPiero Photography right now, and I would be surprised if there's like more than 8 posts. I would really be surprised. All year long, we barely post there, and yet we are day in, week in, month in, constantly making connections with our community. Constantly. Daily. I'm doing 10-minute check-ins. And what I would suggest is this. See, on Instagram and on Facebook page, people do this thing. They say, look at me. Look at this thing I did. I want you to flip that. I want you to say, look at you. Look at this thing you did. Look how amazing you are. That's the attitude I want you to have. So what I mean by that is don't make it all about you. Don't be like constantly pushing out your content. Look at my new picture. Look at my new picture. Look at my... Go to their pages. See what they're doing. Notice them. Oh my gosh, congratulations. I'm so happy you're pregnant. Wow, you got a raise? Oh my God. Oh wow, your branding photos look amazing. I mean, whatever it is, go and comment and compliment, get to know their travels, get to know their life. Facebook stalk them, I'm all about it. But when you notice other people, they're gonna like you so much more. Nobody cares about you, they care about themselves. And when you notice them, they will appreciate you. So I hereby give you permission to throw away your social media accounts, except for use your personal page to connect.
We're going to go for about 10 more minutes till the top of the hour. We'll get a few more questions here.
Cool.
This one is from the husband, Aaron, of a anonymous Facebook user.
Okay.
This is from my husband, Aaron. A couple of people have asked to clarify, when you say 500,000 that you're projected to hit, is that just photography or does that include coaching as well?
Oh no, hold up. Let me clarify. That's just photography because I do not like the disingenuousness that happens in our industry where people will put a whole bunch of numbers together. Can I tell what our big number is?
No. Well, I wanted to say that our photography business last year actually did 600,000.
Won't let me say it.
by Jessie Norville runs that business now very well.
Yes.
And she hit 600,000. And this year, I think very
500K.
Similar number.
Yeah, I come in there twice a month. I do a shoot. I'm there to see what's happening in the industry, to try out new techniques. I love the weekly rapport that Jessie and I have to see what's happening there. And so I'm in that business to see what's going on, but Jessie's running that business and she's doing an amazing job at it. And so when we look at that 500K, this is portrait revenue, and you should structure yourself to hit your own portrait revenue goals. But what happens is my goal, if I look at it as like, what is my goal for my students? This is what I would like for you guys. I would like for each and every one of you to hit $500,000 revenue and then do as I did, because this is what I did in my own portrait business. When I hit 500K, I started backing it down and backing it down. And I said, what if I do 500K 5 days a week? What if I did 500K 4 days a week? What if I did it 3 days a week? And so when you taper yourself out of the business, how do you do that? You do that through streamlining, through systems, through outsourcing. When you do that, you can then start to explore other avenues. So that's when I started a new business, Megan DiPiero Coaching. I then got Megan DiPiero Coaching up to scale. I perfected it. Do not move to business B until you have perfected business A. So then I made Megan DiPiero Coaching run on its own. I stripped my time down. I've made it more and more efficient. And then I launched Frame Suite. And now we're launching a new business that's coming up soon. And there's even more businesses percolating in my mind. And I will launch all of them one day to the tune of, yes, Eric's laughing at me, but to the tune of, check in on me at the end of the decade here. And I really do want to be at $20 million. Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah, Eric's afraid of that number because I'm the visionary and he's the realist, and
Yeah,
he's
I'm the
very
realist.
afraid. But my point is, guys, I was a stay-at-home mom with 15 hours a week. I rose to a $500,000 photographer. I now am a 7-figure earner. I will rise to $20 million, and anyone can do this. And the way you do these things is through method, mindset, and magic. You must put systems in place. Do not let millions of dollars scare you. Get the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I know you're capable of right now by putting these pieces in place, and you can keep rising up. So when you hear we say $500,000, that's portrait revenue. But I completely went away from the question, which was what?
Well, it's hard to follow that. Thinking maybe we should just wrap.
Oh my gosh, such a high note. How about that?
Yeah.
What else do we have? Do we have any other lingering ones?
Yeah, we could do some more questions. Brittany Robbins says, do you find that you have the most work on weekends or the weekdays?
You have the most work when you tell people you work. So interestingly, if you set aside your goals and you say, hey, I want to work 1 weekend a month, you can do that. If you say I want to work 4 weekends a month, you can do that. So set your placement on what's a priority for your life. Now, what I will say, that's a very interesting finding, because remember, I'm constantly looking business analysis. What are the patterns I see in business? And here's what I notice. As I work with more and more affluent people do not want to be shooting on the weekends. They would rather pull their kids out of school on a Friday or a Monday and have the weekends for, I don't know what, sailing? I don't know, something. So they will go and do their weekends for their own family, and the weekday is for accomplishing tasks like photo shoots. So if you find that too, you may see that more your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday workers really want the weekend. And I know that well because I was that person and I served those people, and I still do serve those people. So your 9 to 5ers are gonna really want the weekend, and that's why we always do have a Saturday available. But your more affluent people, they might want more unconventional hours, so do make other days available for them as well.
Somebody says, I have a realist husband as well that tries to keep me down. You will do it, Megan DiPiero. So somebody believes in you.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, it was like, you guys talk about mindset. The first time I introduced the idea to Eric that I was gonna do 20 million, he yelled at me. He was like, we're not gonna do that. That's gonna upset our life. It's gonna change everything. And I said, have you learned nothing so far? Here's what I know to be true. Rich people are wonderful people. I myself am a rich person. I'm a wonderful people. What money does for you is money amplifies what's possible. Money magnifies who you are. So as you make more money, you will be the best version of who you are right now. And imagine a better version of you, because I think you guys are really wonderful. I see you in the group. I love your personalities. I love your humor. I love your spirit. I love your friendship. I love your compassion. I want more of that in the world. I want you times 10. And you can do that, and you can magnify yourself by having more money. That's more money to share, more resources to make yourself, your family, your business bigger and better. And that's what I want for you. So is that a good note to end on?
Yeah, I want to mention a movie clip. We love this movie, The Founder, with Michael Keaton, where he plays Ray Kroc. And at one point, his wife, who is Lena Dern?
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. She
says, hold on, let's do it.
Okay, we'll do it.
She goes, honestly, when will enough be enough? And he goes, honestly, probably never. And we just cracked up laughing. And it's like, honestly, probably never. We say that constantly because Why? Why would I stop? I have so much fun. I love business. I love what I do. I love making money. I love sharing ways for other people to make money. I mean, this is a good life. So the more that I can do and bring into the world is great. And I want you guys to do more and bring in more into the world too. So let's please make this end of the year amazing. Let's make 2023 the best year yet. Take these tools that are available to you, whether they're free, whether you pay for them. I know you're going to make great stuff happen, but you got to apply yourself. Method, mindset, magic, and you are a business owner who's built to succeed. Make it happen.
And cut.
Cut.